Hey everybody, how are you doing? This is Gersten here, and this is obviously the Balanced Vibes podcast. Today we're going to talk about tracking your health metrics and caring maybe too much about your health to the point where it becomes actually bad for you. So it gets turned around to what you thought is good for you. Tracking, keeping an eye on everything that you do, every single move you make, every single supplement you take, every single metric that you can track. When you do this too much, in my opinion, it can actually turn against you and start becoming something that you get obsessed about. And I talk about it today because I'm noticing this more and more on social media where people are posting these like perfect things, right? So today I stayed out in the sunshine 15 minutes the minute that I got up. Okay, so let's talk about it. For example, this recommendation to get some sunlight or daylight into your eyes and onto your skin within the first hour of waking is absolutely great. I agree, it's awesome. But do we have to track this exactly accurately and make sure that it has to be 15 minutes, it has to be the second that I wake up, it has to be done in a perfect way? So when we have too many things like this, then I think maybe it works for some people. Those people who are very like data driven and very analytical. But also, I think there's a little danger there, so that you actually are not able to have real flow in your life and have more flexibility and more room for just like spontaneous things because you are so tightly holding on to these trackers, these metrics, and these numbers. And now you may, of course, say, well, Gersten, don't you work with macronutrition? You're tracking macros. You're making your clients track macros. And yes, this is what I do with most of my clients. Those who, there are some people who are only doing the strength training program, Train to Build. They don't track. But those who are doing nutrition, yes. And to that, I will say you have to prioritize. So if you have a specific goal, whatever the goal is, you have to prioritize that thing. And there are maybe some things that you need to track. So if this is your nutrition, then you're going to track your macronutrients. If you have some other goal, then you're going to track that. Not everything can be a priority at the same time, right? And I think driving yourself nuts is a real thing. It's a real possibility if you just go too far. So people track all kinds of things, but before I mention these things, I actually want to share a funny story about how tracking can be too obsessive and kind of steal joy from your life, right? So one of my friends told me that. So she was dating this guy and they were doing well. And there's a moment where they're sitting on a couch and things are getting hotter and hotter. And all of a sudden, the guy gets a notification to his watch, and he stops what they're doing, and he's like, "Okay, I have too much stress right now. I can't keep going." Right? And that's a crazy example, in my opinion, but because it is from real life, I want to share this. And so my friend asked, like, "Am I causing you stress?" And he said, No. It looks like I haven't had enough water today." So we can totally go crazy when we track everything, and it's at some point it stops being healthy for you. Of course, these trackers are designed to help you get healthier, but if you track every single thing, you're gonna miss out on life. Exactly, like what this example was about. So, what are some of the things that people are then obsessive tracking? So, for example, sleep is one of them, right? And here I will say it can be a great tool if you have an Oura ring, which is something that I wear too, kind of. I'm going to tell you in a second why I say kind of. But also, it can become something that makes you feel hyper or makes you become hyper vigilant and makes you track everything. And now you're tracking your sleep and you are overly worried if like one night your REM was lower or your deep sleep was lower, right? And you start thinking, oh my goodness, what's going on? And the reason why I said I kind of wear it is that I actually took it off for a couple of months. And it was precisely because of that sleep part. So I've shared this before. My sleep isn't always perfect. And sometimes I struggle with it. And now when I looked at my ring data day after day, I actually noticed I'm getting more stressed. I would wake up in the morning, I was like, oh my God, it shows like bad numbers again. How's my day going to be? And I let that data kind of determine what my mood should be like. And I caught it. I was like, you know what? I don't want to do it because there's a night when I slept fine. And now the ring told me that, no, you slept wrong or slept bad. And now my mood is ruined. So I was like, I don't want to let this dictate what I'm going to do or how I'm going to react. So I decided I'm not going to wear my ring for a while. But because, like I said, I have certain things that I do want to track, and one of them is my steps. I still wanted to continue step tracking. So what I started using for a while was my phone. So of course, with your phone, it's never as accurate as your ring or as your wristband or watch, because it's not always with you. So the next trouble I ran into was like I had to carry my phone always with me, and I like to go and walk sometimes without it because I want to just be in silence. And when I get up and go pee, I don't always bring my phone with me. So I was like, what am I going to do now? So I used the phone for a couple of months, and then I was like, how can I still, use my ring, but without looking at the sleep data again? And so I figured I'm just not going to wear it at night. And so some might say that, okay, you're running away from the problem, right? You don't want to look at your sleep data. But I would say that I'm a person who is taking care of her sleep. I'm not staying up at night. There's just something that I right now don't know that I can control to have like perfect sleep. So I'm not making all the mistakes that like a lot of people are making, staying up late and staring at the screens and doing all the stuff. So I'm not doing that. I do the best that I can, but I don't want to see this like negative or bad number all the time. So I just took it off. And that's what I do right now. I'm wearing during the day, so I can still put my workouts in there if I want to, and I can track my steps. But currently, I'm not tracking my sleep. So I think for you to, use the sleep tracker if you feel like it helps you. If it helps you to make some changes, if you, let's say, try a new thing out for 7 days, you're like, okay, let me go back bed to, I don't know, 30 minutes earlier or finish my dinner a little bit earlier. Let's see if that improves something. And it does, awesome. This is good. But if it's causing you more stress, like it was in my case, then I was like, you know what, I'm going to take this up. So now another thing that can become very obsessive if you start tracking your HRV all the time. So heart rate variability, it basically shows under how much stress your body is. And so if the HRV number is really low, if it's not improving, that again can become a big source of stress. And this is all you think about, right? You can't become this person. You have to know yourself. Again, if you're able to just look at this data and be like, oh, I wonder what's been causing me stress. Can I improve this? Can I make things better? And you make these improvements and changes, and things do get better. That's very cool. But if you are only using this number, looking at this number and getting stressed about it every single day, then I don't think this is a good use of your energy to get super obsessed about your HRV. Now, the next thing, which is interesting that people do, is they're very specific about how many minutes they got in the sun. So again, it's not very natural anymore, right? Isn't it nicer? Isn't it more natural to go out for a walk because you like walking and it's good for you? But instead, we're getting so obsessed. We're like, all right, let's start a timer. It has to be 30 minutes exactly. And then I'm going to be outside in the sun. And then I can talk about it on Instagram. So this type of tracking, again, it's not, in my opinion, it can get a little obsessive if you think about it this way. Why not just enjoy the beautiful sun and beautiful weather? Now, you know that I am into ice bath, right? So into cold plunging. And one of the most known people probably who has talked about the benefits of cold plunging is, of course, Andrew Huberman. And I think he's awesome. I think he's great. And his general recommendation is, I believe, 11 minutes of ice bath per week, right, for those who are doing it. So I'm not saying that everybody should do it. I'm just saying that this is his recommendation. And now I've seen those people in the like biohacking world who are like, it has to be 11 minutes every week because Huberman said so. Does it really? Or is there a week when you feel good doing 15 minutes? And is there a week when you feel doing 7 minutes? Is that a possibility? Do we all have to believe that 100% now this is the rule because somebody said so, and if I don't get my 11 minutes, my health is gonna be ruined? You have to check in with yourself. So I take ice baths quite regularly. And when people ask me, how long did you stay in for? It actually varies. So I always stay in for at least 2 minutes, But there are times when I stay in for 4.5, which is what I did last Saturday. And then I did one on Sunday when I stayed in only for 2 minutes. So it doesn't have to be, first of all, it doesn't have to be more is better. Absolutely not. But it also doesn't have to be always the same. So when I said sometimes I do 4.5 minutes, sometimes I do 2 minutes, it's because my body feels different on different days, right? Sometimes I feel I just crave the cold and I know it's really good for me and I feel great when I sit there 4.5 minutes. And the other times it's like I just want to get in and out and I don't want to sit there longer and it doesn't feel like as good for me. I don't feel as strong there today. So I'm just not going to stay there as long. So it's important that you listen to your body too. You can't force things because if you lose this connection with your own body, then I think you're moving away from health. All right. So what are some other things that people are tracking or putting on social media? Oh, I'm grounding, right? I'm grounding 10 minutes every day. Your feet have to touch the floor or the ground. Yes. Awesome. Again, I love it. Barefoot walks, great. If you can do it, do it. I think it's a really great idea. It's good for your foot health. It is good for your parasympathetic response. It's great for relaxation. But again, do we have to do exactly a set number of minutes and then talk about it and then put in our schedule and like it's like a list of things that we have to do? So I don't know if we have to be so strict about it. Now, what are some of the other things that people are maybe taking a little too seriously when these things happen? Are if your poop was off one day, so let's say typically you go to the bathroom every day as you should, and then there's a day or two when you're constipated. Yeah, not ideal. Nobody likes to be constipated, but also we don't have to make a super big deal out of it, right? You can see sometimes people are, health practitioners, make sure that you poop every single day. And again, yes, it's a great recommendation, although I don't know how you make sure if you don't poop, you don't poop. But it's a great thing to happen. You eliminate toxins. Of course, you want this to happen daily. But also what can happen is that somebody can overthink this and think that if they had a day or two when they didn't have a bowel movement, something is seriously bad and seriously wrong. So check yourself. If you are this person who tends to go into like extremes a little bit or tends to catastrophize a little bit, check in with yourself and notice that you're doing this and calm yourself down. I promise you, if you have 2 days of constipation, you're not gonna, die. It's absolutely fine. So all these little things are like supplements. If you forgot one day, it's not gonna kill you, right? You'll be fine. Of course, there are people on the other end of the spectrum who just always forget their supplements, and sometimes they're not gonna help you if you're not taking them. But if you forgot one, then there's no point in overthinking it. No point in like making a bigger deal of like all of these things. Like one less than ideal night of sleep, or one missed supplement, or one day when you didn't get that early morning sunlight. It's okay. I promise you, you're gonna be fine. You don't have to track everything so hard that you don't have any room to breathe, basically, and room to listen to your body and the intuition. I don't want you to go this far. So track the things that really matter to you and that make a bigger difference, right? What are these things that are important to you? And can you also take a step back if you notice that these numbers, these tracking numbers, these results are starting to cause you more stress than they help you? Because in this moment you have to catch yourself, just like I caught myself with the ring and with the sleep stuff. Okay, this is getting a little too crazy right now, and I don't want to be this way. And I'll say that my sleep did get better when I stopped obsessing about it. When I also stopped obsessing about things around sleep, right? Like, am I getting to bed every day at exactly the same thing? I was like, you know what? One day I'm tired at 9 o'clock, and the other day I'm tired 9:30. I just let it be like this, and it has been better for me. Like, I still don't do like crazy like screens, and I don't watch news and all the bullshit, right? So I don't do that, but I also don't like I don't get obsessive around like exactly this has to be exactly the right time and have to get up exactly the same time every day. I have become a lot more relaxed around these things, and things are improving. But because a lot of it is mindset, a lot of it is your nervous system, like how you're keeping yourself on high alert with the constant tracking, checking everything. because it very well can be. Your brain is just like, ah, in this like high brain wave state where it's like slightly panicky. And if this is you gotta catch that and try to live more intuitive, more like flow type of life where you can hear your body signals, because your body is talking to you. It is telling you when it's tired. It is telling you, what it needs. Like, for the most part, you should be able to hear these things and make adjustments to your plans accordingly. All right, so I hope this episode helped you today a little bit. Think about, what are you tracking? Let me know. What are you tracking? I'm curious to hear. Okay, so this is all for today. Thank you so much for being here, and I'll see you in the next episode. Take care.